Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Milk, Eggs,
And
and a
whole lot of tea.
whole lot of tea. So, B, Brandon, what are you
Yes.
up to? How are you? Let's talk about this Dolly shirt, this Dolly hoodie.
Let's talk about it.
I love it.
Thank you so much. Okay, so it was a friend gifted it, and we bought it at Dollywood because I remember when I was going, I was going to get you some.
So you couldn't get me what you got on.
Hello, but here's the thing: I couldn't get matching ones because I already matching with somebody,
So
so I can't triple match. You know what I
we
mean?
could be a throuple.
Listen, I like my exclusive relationships by me, myself, and one other person.
Yeah.
Uh,
We can all head on. We can took family pictures together.
we could. Okay, now let's talk about your shirt real quick. You
Absolutely.
got who do you got on your t-shirt?
Madam Kamala.
Kamala Mamala is on your t-shirt.
Yeah.
So we repping two powerhouse queens today in the studio.
Are here.
The friends are here. And you know what? Because we friends too.
We
I know. Ooh, do that again. That feels good.
It's my nails.
Oh, you could just scratch my neck.
I won't.
Okay,
I will not.
so Allegra, we are a good chunk of the way through our season 2.
Yes, we are.
How are you feeling so far?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some, of course, quite a few great guests, and we have another great guest that's about to make their appearance.
I know.
So everything's been going well. How are you testing out the waters for this season?
It's great. I mean, so far so great. I love everyone who's joined us.
Mhm.
It's great to just share their stories, share what we've talked about, our funny moments, some of our serious moments.
We had serious moments.
I'm sure about one or two of them.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
But honestly, I can't remember. But if there was some serious moments in there, you know what I mean. So yeah, I think it's doing pretty good. So
Mhm.
enough about us.
Yes.
I know, because I'm tired of talking to
I know we
you.
don't want to have no random topics.
Okay, so who do we have joining our episode today on Milk, Eggs, and a Whole Lot of Tea?
Yes. So we have someone joining is from afar. Well, not really afar. I would say New York is not that far from
Well, he's not
Nashville.
in New York. He's in New Orleans. Remember?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
First, we got to get
Yes.
where he's at.
See, what happened was when he said he's at the JFK,
Yeah.
I'm thinking in my mind, you're not at the airport, you're in New York.
Oh. Oh, but yeah, no, he's in like
Yeah,
New
NOLA.
Orleans.
New-
Or how do you say it?
I say NOLA.
Nola?
NOLA.
I know, but you had that twang
Nola?
to it.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so anyways, everybody.
The one and only Ziggy. Welcome to Milk, Eggs, and a Whole Lot of Tea, Ziggy.
Yay. Ziggy.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Yes, I was in New York just moments
See?
ago. Now I'm in
Okay.
New Orleans. New Orleans.
New Orleans.
That's a good way to say it.
Yes.
But yes, thank you so much for having me on. This is
Of
exciting.
Thank you.
course, of course. And thank you for just sitting right there on the computer screen watching us just banter for a second. And, here we are.
No problem.
However, to our audience, Ziggy was supposed to be right here in the middle, but Ziggy had other plans
Next time.
next time.
That's part of the job. You got to go when you got to go.
You gotta
So,
go and you gotta go. Okay, so before we dive into what you do, start us off and tell us who is Ziggy? Who is Ziggy Zig?
Ziggy,
You got him a
what a
nickname
mystery.
already.
Ziggy Zig. I always call him
Yeah.
Ziggy Zig.
So my name's Ziggy, and I consider myself production, entertainment, professional, executive, get it done kind of guy. I started my humble career in theater, doing backstage work, set design, lighting design, studied that, but followed that kind of curiosity for television, live events, things like that, and I grew up I was born in Poland, adopted by an American family, raised in Belgium and France,
Lord have
went to the
mercy.
university in Chicago. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Went back to Europe for a little bit and then kind of made my way to New York to kind of pursue entertainment. Two suitcases, some saved up money, stayed on a friend's couch, and 25 years later, you know, finding myself running some pretty big shows and some companies and working with great crews and people all over the world. So that's me in a nutshell. But I'm from everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. I like to consider myself a bit of a third culture kid where, you're from one place, raised in another, but also influenced by so many other people from all around the world. And I'm just very blessed that I've been able to just kind of see it all and experience it all. And there's still much more I want to do. And, you know, so that's kind of who I am and where I'm from.
That's amazing. I mean, I've known you for a little bit, but I just love learning and hearing your stories and where your background is. And because I mean, you're like you said, you're from everywhere but nowhere. And it's kind of like but you've done so much in your life,
right,
that has brought you to
and I have these amazing friends that have become like your surrogate family wherever you are. But my family is based in Brussels and Belgium, so that's kind of where I deem my home base, and I go back to regularly to see them. And I've been recently able to spend a lot of time there right now, as I've kind of gone back to like a freelance track, and doing some exciting projects, and even going to the Middle East a lot, and just kind of keeping my fingers in all the pies and trying to, figure out what the next best thing is going to be and bring that to the masses.
And that's what you're doing.
And that's what you're doing.
That's what we're doing. Yeah, it is.
So, question for you. Since we now established that you were in New Orleans, and
not JFK.
Not JFK.
Yeah, just briefly.
And that's why you're joining us virtually today. So,
Yes.
Ziggy, let's just dive in it. Are you able to share what you're currently working on in New Orleans?
Well, it's a independent movie. There is someone pretty big name in it.
Okay.
I can't really say who because can't break that clause yet because it's still very much. So we're at the studio here. We're like building the sets and setting up the dressing rooms, and so, but it is going to be something that does have some big star power names that you've seen on TV, you've seen them in movies. So, but the beauty of New Orleans is that there's always something very creative always happening here. And I came down here many years ago to work on Swamp People,
Right.
10 years ago, and had done that for many years. So I was, I have a good network here, and I take any opportunity I can to come to this part of the US. It's so different than anywhere else. And I just love being down here. And this was just one of those instances where you get a call and you're like, okay, I'll go. So
look at Ziggy.
I've seen Swamp People. So were you actually like in the field? In the field
I have
Swamp People.
I have been
Oh
in the
my
field.
God.
I've been on the boat with Troy, shoot 'em. Like, I always feel like, okay, usually my role is an executive, right? I'm the boss. I'm in charge of everyone's safety and the budget and hiring, firing, all that. Well, not firing, but, that's kind of the role that I assume on a project. So you have to, understand what everyone else is going through. And I feel like I can only be a good leader to the people if I'm on the boat with them, hauling in a gator, so I understand what they're up against every day. And then with my cameraman, like, how does your camera work? How does it, like, what are you facing out there on a daily basis? So I can really work with them and kind of make everyone feel secure and good about what they're doing.
Yeah.
But yes, it smells. It's hot. It's 100 plus, humid. It's wild. And this is one of those things though where it's like I never thought in a million years I would even come here. I didn't even really know about it here. And then I find myself in the bayou in this like prehistoric land and thinking, what is my life? And wow, and I've had this a lot. I've been able to go so many places. So it's a really cool industry. So
that's awesome. So
I have to remember that. I have to remember, oh yeah, your job is cool.
It really is. I mean, because a lot of people would aspire to do what you do and,
100%.
be able to be behind and be a part of the story that's being created.
Absolutely.
So speaking of all these shows you've produced, been a part of, had a good time on, you have to make some pretty big decisions when it comes to crew, finances, all of that good stuff. So
Mhm.
can you tell us what is one of the most controversial, did I say that word right?
Controversial.
Controversial.
It's okay.
Yeah, you know what word I'm trying to say. What what is the most that word decision you've made while producing a reality TV show?
Hmm. That's a tough one. Um, I think sometimes there's incidents that occur
Mm,
and you have to decide whether or not it's worth including it in the storytelling and what it might do. Because there are some things that will happen that the audience will never know because it could be either very damaging to someone or their family or their children or things like that. And we're not really in the business of trying to make people look bad,
Hmm.
unless it's kind of everyone's on board with it and like, well, that happened, you filmed it, okay, I don't love it, but
mhm.
I fell down the stairs and you know my whatever was out, like that kind of thing will usually include, but we make sure that before we do that we've had conversations about it, we've had risk assessments about it, and things like that. So it's hard to really pinpoint anything that was super controversial, but recently we've been doing, we did the Real Housewives of Dubai, and I think there we are making some decisions to push kind of cultural norms. We
Yeah.
never broke the law, we never did anything illegal, but I think we were able to finally show a little bit and kind of, but again, by committee, by making sure that we were consulting with, cultural experts, legal experts, because we're in the business of entertainment and longevity, right? We want all of our shows to keep going forever. So I've had to make some controversial decisions in the moment, like on a set before many years ago when I was in the field. Um, but those I can't really detail too much. So,
But those
I
decisions were
mean,
made.
I can talk about other crazy things that have
Mhm.
happened, but to say that we've made like a super controversial decision is not really something that comes up too often because we are lucky that we have like this freedom to kind of show what we want to show,
Mhm.
right? To the market out there, and it's whether they want to eat it up or not that makes it, make or break. So,
Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay.
yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna try not to be too
No,
boring here, but
you,
I
hey,
have to be careful what I say.
we totally understand. We understand.
Absolutely.
Okay, so have you ever had to handle a situation where a cast member went rogue and what happened?
Okay, so I have a few stories of this. So
Okay.
I have worked on some competition style shows
Hmm.
too, back in the day, and I was talent management as well as production management, so very involved in that. I've had people disappear in the middle of the night,
What?
can't find them at call time in the morning, and usually they're under our watch, but you can't watch them every second.
Right.
And
Yeah.
somebody decided to go somewhere outside of the confines of, the housing that was provided. And we had people watching them and everything like that. But, um, we assumed everyone was sleeping, but, that was a bit of stress, Luckily we found them quickly enough, but it's this, the show went on and the producers were able to produce what they needed to do, but my team and me were behind the scenes. And
Mhm.
and then the same with another very profile celebrity as well, like went missing
Oh, my Lord.
overnight. And they were more on their own. They were supposed to be kind of independent and then just show up the next day on their own, but this person was rather special and got carried away
Oh.
with an evening out, let's just say. And
Ah,
that was about a 9-hour search, but that was a little bit more
not,
important because like the rest of the team couldn't proceed without them.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like physically actually going rogue,
Yeah.
And then you sometimes will get talent on some other shows, like maybe that are a bit more like docu-reality style shows where they will just go rogue by like not even talking or not even showing up while they're in the scene, So
Mm.
luckily we have an
Mhm.
army of amazing producers who are trying to like really be like, listen, like you're not participating, so that means you're not going to be in it. So that's less airtime for you, and that doesn't work for you.
yeah.
So you do have to, and then we've had people leave like cast trips and go home because they've had a big fight, and we follow that, and that's story
Mhm.
for us as well. So, I'm usually aware of when things are happening because I have to be informed, but I'm not like the director or the producer who's right there with them, and they're the heroes who have to really bring them back. And they have a job. They're producing energy out of these characters that already have something great, but they bring them to the next level. So they really are in charge of it.
Gotcha.
Easy.
Yeah, I mean, I have about 1,000 different crazy stories about
Oh, I bet you do.
but we might have to do that off.
Right.
When you come
Yeah,
into
I don't
town,
want to get anyone in trouble.
We don't want that for you.
Production's very hard.
But
Yeah, production is very hard. There's so many things happening. Everyone's coming together, but keeping it on the tracks and keeping it to the end is always a huge challenge. So things sometimes do come up, but it's how you recover and it's how you finish out that really matters. So I haven't had anything disastrous yet. We've always been able to make it work, in the famous words of Tim Gunn.
I know that's right.
make it work.
Make it work. So here's the thing. We just mentioned like there was a lot of like crazy things, some hardest part about being a production. So how do you stay organized, manage your time, and keep yourself like together?
It's a great question.
That is a very good question because you often find that there's just never enough time.
Right.
So I think you have to start out with your team and set expectations. I think, of how you're going to work with your team, and then all the other teams, how they have to work then with my team. But I am the one who brings all the teams together. The mandate from our network, I'm the one funneling them the answers and the budgets and saying, we can do this and we're going to do this. And we've made these decisions. And then I have to then hire the right number 2 person who's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for me. Or maybe sometimes that's my role as well, depending on my job at the time. And just making sure you have that reliable team, if you can. If they're available and they want to do it, you hire them and you lock them in. And you learn over the years, the good ones and the ones that maybe didn't work out as well, to hone in your team. And I think it's all about the teamwork. And I need to bring the best camera person, the best makeup artist, the best set designer, the best producer, the best director, all of those people to the table so that we can ensure the success. But for time, I have calendar, notes. I use a notebook. If you show up to my meeting in my conference room and you don't have a paper and a pencil or a pen, I don't believe you're paying attention.
Oh wow, you're old school. You want
I know that's just the way I work. Yeah.
What? Okay.
It's the way I work. It's the way I like to
Gotcha.
keep track of things. But I feel like devices, laptops, people who are taking notes on those things, like, I don't know. It's like there's something I like to go a little old school. I like to, because then we're thinking differently. We're not distracted. We're not looking at things. We're not, so I think it just helps the process. I believe in using your tools. I think any tools that you have available to yourself, you should definitely use to your advantage in technology. And we use that in our business. But I always start kind of with the whiteboard or the drawing board kind of idea, mapping things out. We use our walls in our office. We set up big calendars. We put up milestones. I mean, it's kind of, so when you can just look up when we're talking and we're in an office situation and we have the schedule in front of us, and that moves and changes minute to minute. So just staying hyper organized is really the only way to get through it, because you're going to have a ton of meetings and everyone needs something. And dividing your time is very challenging, but it's something that you just get used to. Everyone used to say, oh, multitasking isn't a real thing. And I'm like, well, yes and no. But just being able to handle a lot all at the same time and not let any balls drop is the key to the success of production management at this level. And it is the backbone of these shows. We are the unsung kind of heroes. We're there before everyone. We're there after everyone. We're making sure everyone ate on time and that they're all feeling good and that they had the lights that they needed.
I know that's right.
And that that the car service showed up to pick up whoever it was, that needs to be picked up. And it's tiring because you have to be on everyone.
Yeah.
For me, that is my biggest challenge, is just staying on everyone, making sure they're doing their job and feeling supported at the same time.
That's what's up.
It's a dance. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, so I have another question for you. So we already know that you film in
Yeah.
like Dubai and where like society roles may play a part. Have you ever witnessed something that's like in filming in Dubai, like, oh, we may be bending the rules here a little bit?
Ye-
And if so, how do you handle
yes.
that? And what, if you want to tell, like, what was that they were bending the rules about?
Ooh, some tea Allegra's trying to get from you.
All the information on Housewives of Dubai.
Uh, well, we never broke any
That's
rules.
good.
That was very clear. And and everyone who lives in Dubai and the cast they're on the show, they live there and they love living there. It's their favorite place. So everyone's very respectful of everyone there.
Hmm.
That is kind of the number golden rule there. It's just you respect everyone, politeness and all that, and yeah, I wasn't really on the ground very much. I would be getting things back, everything kind of reported back to me in New York, but I think for me, my concern was always just like where there is drinking allowed in certain establishments of private property,
Mhm.
and always just making sure that everyone's image
Yeah.
was upheld in a way that made everyone in Dubai, the locals, happy. And we did a very good job with that. So, um, and I think the fighting and the arguments that come up
Hmm.
are usually a bit of a concern. So, but we have very smart producers who know how to kind of anticipate what's going to happen. So we never had anything like physical or any altercations. So, you get really wise to it. But yeah.
Okay, I'll take that. I do have
Yeah.
another question for you, though.
Sorry.
So, have out of all the franchise, everything that you worked together on, have you had at a point where people could not film together and would refuse to film together?
Mm-mm.
And
Yeah,
how
many times.
really? How did you handle that?
Yeah. Well, again, they need to make a choice, right? Whether they want to show up. And we let people cool off if they need a break or if they're having fights,
Mm-hmm.
like, Atlanta shows,
Mm-hmm.
these Potomac, these different housewife shows, like that is part of the draw for the audience. And I think they know that. But yeah, sometimes they need to take a beat and take a minute and
Mm-hmm.
then we bring them back and we work it out. But sometimes if someone's not really wanting to show up
Mm-hmm.
or participate as much, we have to just kind of have to have that conversation and bring it back to like, okay, well, what's the issue?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you upset? Or what can we do that would make it easier without giving them everything
Yeah.
at the same time? Because it is a job for them and they have to also show up to the job like we're showing up to the job. And that's generally kind of the conversations that I usually have with cast members when things like that happen is, I just said, let's just take a breath. Let's just remember what we're doing here. And I get it. They're exposing their
Mm-hmm.
lives. It's totally different than me showing up to work tired or not really wanting to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're like on week 14 of 15 and, we just want to be wrapped. But for them, it's like they're juggling their real lives, their kids, their families, everything like that on top of the schedule, on top of the demands
Mm-hmm.
of, filming these shows, which is we're filming reality, but it's in a condensed period of time. So, it is a lot on them. So I just try to bring them
Mm-hmm.
back, say, like, let's just breathe, and then if it's physical or if it's something like that where they're just like, I need a break,
Mm-hmm.
then we just work it out. We just make it work. But yeah, sometimes you have to get a little push, you have to remind them, like, you're getting paid
You
for
are getting
this too.
paid.
So,
It is a job, boo.
and to be grateful and to be grateful. And I feel like everyone is, right, deep down,
Mm-hmm.
but it can be a lot. It's a lot of pressure. So, um, you know,
Yeah, I can imagine.
God, they're all gonna kill me after they watch this. They're all gonna be like, Ziggy, what are you saying?
Ziggy, why are you saying this right now?
Oh my God.
No, because I appreciate, because also too, as a viewer of Housewives, and you watch them as well, like it's very intriguing seeing from like your side of you to
Mm-hmm.
our side of you, the
Mm-hmm.
watcher, and it's like, what does, I mean, you kind of get the sense of watching reality TV and knowing that things are produced, some things are just natural, all of
Mhm.
that good
Yeah.
stuff, but it's interesting to hear from your point of view, like just kind of what goes
Well, and
on.
I
But it's like at the end of the day, they're
true.
humans and everyone's a human
Yeah.
around you on set. Like no
Well,
one's a
they're
robot,
right. They're
right?
not robots.
No, they're not robots. And it's like you have to treat them as such, but you
Yeah.
also have to be like,
Right.
listen, you're here to do something, and I am too.
Yeah, and I feel like everyone has always been super respectful of the
Mm-hmm.
crew
Yeah.
and grateful. They're the ones making everyone look good. So there's never been any major issues like on that front from like a crew standpoint or from my team standpoint. I think though where the contention comes is like what's the stories and
Mm-hmm.
the producing of it is where like the stress and the tension comes from. But I'm very proud to say that every show that I've worked on outside of a very formatted reality show has been very like everything that's happening is real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's awesome.
not scripted. Like it's not scripted. We don't have time to script,
Yeah.
you
It
know,
just is what it
but
is.
we are shooting within a certain amount of time, and I don't think it's the major secret that, you know, we're not filming all year
Yeah.
long. So, you know, we do have to stick to a schedule. So, and everything has to fit within that schedule. But these are real events. They're real conversations, real friendships, relationships that have been formed from the way before, during, middle, whatever. But it is not scripted and that planned out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It just, these people are really intriguing. They're telegenic. They've got something to say and it pops off. And that's how we find them and we put them on there because of that. So,
Which is awesome.
Yes.
yeah. So for me, it's a privilege to watch producers and casting producers work.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not involved in the final decision. I'm not involved in, you know, whether or not someone, I feel like if they're good or not, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I have my opinions, but that's not my role
Yeah.
in the projects or on the shows. So I have mad respect for the producers who really have the vision for it,
Mm-hmm.
and I make their vision happen for them.
Yeah.
That's my job,
Yeah, I like that.
you know, and that's my team's
It
job.
kind of debunks the myth that all reality shows are scripted.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I
Not
mean, and
well, majority of them. I don't know.
everyone can, yes, you know, and it is interesting. I love reading comments from fans about
Absolutely.
shows, and they'll say, "Oh, production did this, and they just did that," and sometimes I just want to answer so
Yeah.
bad.
Do you get tempted to answer like,
Girl,
would
you
you
have
not
no
know?
idea.
Mm.
No idea.
Or sometimes you say, sometimes I'm there and like they make it sound like it was so easy or something, and I said, you have no idea what that took for us, you know. And sometimes it's a lot, and people get really stressed, and burnout is a thing, and the days are long, and you know, if they only knew,
Right.
you know, if they
Like,
If they only
come
knew.
spend a little day on our shoes real quick. You'll see what happens.
yeah, and you know, and again, it is a privilege,
Yeah.
but it is a lot of work, you know,
Yeah.
and but it's really fun to see what people think they know about it as
So
well.
you be in
So
the comments.
I'm reading some of the comments, but I dare not respond.
Yeah, that would be hard not to respond. Okay.
Yeah, I would, but if I was one of the cast members and someone came at me and it said something about my family
That's
or
hard not
myself,
to
I would
respond.
have a hard
Yeah.
time not responding. But my advice always is to just don't even look, you know, don't even watch.
That's what Whoopi
But
Goldberg
I
said.
think
Do
it's
not
hard.
read the comments.
Don't read it.
Read
Just
them.
let them go.
Just let them
People
go.
are gonna say what they're gonna say.
They are, but it's hard. You're right. Burnout's real, and
Yeah.
like these are real people.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel sensitive towards reality stars now.
Right?
I
Right.
feel a little sensitive
A
towards
little
them.
sensitive. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, but yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so I could go on that tangent, but I'm not because we got some questions to get through.
You got
Yes.
All
Okay.
right.
So, what's the most shocking thing a cast member has done that you had to keep under wraps?
And we won't tell anyone.
We won't tell anyone, but it'll be out there for the world. So,
I mean, I got to keep it all under wraps. uh,
that you do.
this is where I'm going to disappoint you because I don't watch the shows
Oh.
back. So unless it was something major, and my memory for it is like, this is a good question. Trying to think. I don't know. I might need a moment to re-jog my memory on anything.
That's okay. Take a moment. I'm gonna skip because I'm gonna edit
Yeah.
this real quick, but I'm skipping this question,
That was cool.
so it'll be your next.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is where I'm not going to really be able to come up with something. So
No worries.
I'm really sorry.
Well, Ziggy,
Because I just can't. Because I just don't have it in my brain. So
We'll pick up.
because I have to move on very quickly from everything that I'm doing when I'm working. So Like I'm on to like the next 40 problems while something's,
Mm-hmm.
happened.
So
So I'm trying to
basically,
think like,
America,
yeah.
he cannot answer it and he's copping out. Let's move on. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just-
I've signed like 5 million
We want you to keep that.
already
Yes.
nervous about this interview, guys. I'm so
It's
nervous.
okay. It's definitely fine.
You're good.
But I do have a
Yeah.
question for you. Do you ever go back and watch the films that you create?
Yeah, I
Really?
do because I have to see. And as for the last few years of my career, I've been at the production house where we're also editing them. So I'm watching the cuts as they're coming out. So generally, I am seeing everything. But if I wasn't necessarily doing that very closely, I do enjoy watching it on TV and usually with other people. I like to watch it with my family or,
Oh.
other fans to see. But then I have friends who call me. They're like, "Did you hear what Bobby Sue said to Jilly Ann to da da da?" And I'm like, "Who are these
Right.
people?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "You make the
Yeah.
show, Nikki. You make it." And I'm like,
It's just a person on
Yeah.
TV or on the screen when I see it.
I probably know their, payment information more than I know anything about them.
They're
So,
routing an account number. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, you don't need to necessarily be a super fan or watch all of the shows to be good at the job, but I need to watch enough of it
Yeah.
so that I understand what's out there and how things look. And again, working with my crews and with the team and understanding how post-production works as well is huge for someone who's out there filming it so that we're making sure we deliver everything back to the post house
Yep.
so that they can make the magic happen there as well. It's not just us filming. We probably only show about 15% of what we film in the end.
Wow.
And all the good stuff, all the really good stuff is on the cutting room floor. I mean,
Dang.
Wait,
that's
so
the stuff
what?
that we would love to show.
But who makes that?
It doesn't always make
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
a team of Okay, so you have your post-producing
Okay.
team. There's usually an executive producer in post and a whole team of producers and editors, and they're putting together what they think is great and wonderful. And maybe there's an executive at the production company also chiming in, but then they send it to the network, to the Bravo, the NBC, like, wherever. And those executives give notes and they give their input.
Oh.
And then, and then they're
Interesting.
working as a team to kind of come up with it all together. So it's not just one person or it's a huge committee. It's a lot of layers.
But like,
It's an army,
but essentially,
and it's,
oh, sorry. Go ahead. I keep cutting you off.
but they've been involved from the beginning, right? Like Bravo is involved or,
Yeah.
I'm just using them as an example, by the way.
I got you.
Not saying that this is how they do things, but the network, let's just say, or whoever's commissioning the project, because sometimes it's a streamer or, they're very involved in the process as well. So it's like different layers,
Makes
many people involved.
brings a TV show together.
So it goes through, and I feel like those are the people who really need to understand
Yeah.
what works for the audience, what's hot right now, and they can make that sing. Again, I'm more the nuts and bolts person who helps them bring the vision to fruition, basically.
I like that.
Ziggy, I mean, you're an important part, Ziggy. You're very important.
Because we have to have you. That's where the dirtiness comes in tonight. Yeah.
Right.
So, question for you. It sounds like being in this entertainment industry can be quite stressful. So, have you ever had to take a moment where you're like, let me just take a step back for my own mental health and my own well-being?
Yep. Oh, yes. So you try to do it as you're working in it, and it's a freelance world, so everyone's usually going from job to job
Yeah.
or, and I have taken some breaks before, I maybe 10, 15 years ago, I took a little time out just because I was working shows back to back to back to back, and you're working 15 to 20 hours a day sometimes and 6, 7 days a week.
15 to 20 hours a day?
Yeah, that's pretty normal for productions. Maybe you're not filming all of those hours, but there's time before and after prep, figuring out the next day, whatever, comes up. We do this very, on the fly sometimes, or, you have as much planning as you need, but then it's never enough, right? When you get to go time. So I took a break when and I was much younger then. And I recently also just took another little break um, from things to kind of regroup and
Mm-hmm.
visit family and just kind of do what I needed to do. And I think I encourage everyone to do the same,
Absolutely.
because you're only as good as, you know, your energy and your mental capacity to like manage these very challenging projects. So, you know, I think I'm trying to take the stigma out of the industry where, you know, it's like, you know, this idea of almost working yourself to the bone or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, working yourself is not necessarily a badge to wear, you
Exactly.
know.
Yeah.
It is, we got to take care of everybody. We have to make sure people are not doing anything that becomes dangerous. You know, I don't want someone who've worked 15 hours a day and then have to drive home an hour or what, you know. So I think it's, you know, there's, you know, it's everyone's committed and everyone wants to do a good job, but I think we also have to kind of you have to say when it's too
Yeah.
much and just say that's not safe, and let's figure out a way to make it safe. And again, that's a huge part of my job and a huge part of my role, but I also have to
Mm-hmm.
be rested in order to be able to take care of everyone else as well. So I'm all for it. I think also being able to go away and like educate yourself on something new,
Yeah.
or work on something different that will lend itself to your progress and success in the field is super important. So I think people should not be afraid. It is hard to, you know, say I want to take a break, but I think it's awesome. So
Good for you.
that's just
I'm with you on that one. I think it's awesome too. There's no reason to be working like a dog. We are not back in the 1950s, 40s, 60s, whatever.
We need a break, and it's
Yeah.
okay to take a break.
Yes, it is okay because you
It
can't.
is. It's also okay to like ask for help as well and say, listen, I don't really know how to do this, but I'm in charge of this and I have to make it work. So, and that's what's so great about me working in this industry for so long is I have that phone a friend anywhere, you know, oh, how am I going to get this done? Well, we all band together and I can call people for help and then they call me for help as well all the time. We are such a strong, supportive community, and you have to be because it's the only way. And you have to celebrate when other people have success.
Yes.
I've had assistants, PAs, who went much faster up the ladder than me, were running companies or executive producing, and I wasn't even near that. But I only have applause and praise for them because they worked for it and they deserved it. And now we're colleagues and we share all of our experiences together, but I just got there at a different time. And I think there's no room for jealousy or, you know, this kind of negative behavior. I think we have to kind of keep everyone uplifted in that way.
Yeah, for sure.
And now I'm just rambling.
No,
Now you preaching is what you're doing. Yeah,
But
so there's room for everybody.
it's important,
Yeah.
you
it
know?
is. It is.
It's important.
Okay, so if you could produce any kind of reality TV show without limits, what would it be and
Limits.
why? If you could just go rogue and
Ooh.
it's like, you know what?
Endless budgets.
You know, endless budget. Okay. I mean, for me, I would just want to, I love food and I love travel. And if I could just be Anthony Bourdain
Oh my Lord.
Jr.,
Ah, I agree with
you
you.
know,
Barbie.
like for me, that would be amazing. Like beautiful pictures, artsy stuff. But I also love live TV and, you know, like live concerts and that kind of, you know, working and producing on like a Beyonce concert or a Madonna concert, you know, one of these big, you know, I had experience working with the lighting team many years ago, out of college, working on like VMAs
That's
and
what's up.
like big events like that, which were incredible to work on. I don't know, maybe some kind of interactive live competition style show that was merges, I don't know, cooking and
You got all sorts of
fashion.
ideas.
I don't know.
I mean, you had me with
But
the
it's interesting
cookies.
because
Okay.
I'm thinking about like what is the next, like what is like I feel like what is next?
Yeah.
Like what are people gonna what is new? I feel like there's a lot of the same things after 25, 30 years of reality shows. But what is interesting, and it's interesting because people are gravitating towards the TikToks and the online and the podcast and you know, so it's just very interesting to see where it's going to go. And I hope that I can at least kind of contribute to the next step of it, to not just what we've been doing all along, but help figuring out that step. And I know what I want my role to be, and that it can be just, you know, executing it for someone.
Yeah.
And helping them produce it. But I don't know if I am working on a few development
Oh.
projects as well, which I never thought I would really do. But, I have some cool ideas brewing, and hopefully in the next year or so, those will actually see the light of day. But it's very competitive. So
Hmm.
we'll see.
Well, I'm putting
Yeah.
all the good juju out
I
there
know
for it
that's
to
right. What
happen.
is meant for you will find you.
Yeah, and it'll happen.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah, no,
Okay,
cool.
so last question before we move to our little game segment with you.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the biggest wow moment you've ever experienced that made you think, "Oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening."
In the workplace,
Workplace, life, anywhere. Just what was that kind of just
wow.
wow moment you've ever
Yeah.
experienced?
And we could take it out the workplace too.
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, this is again, there's like a long list of moments in your life where you're like, wow, is this real? But I have to say, when I was very young, I was maybe 10 years old, I was watching MTV and I looked at my mom, and it was, an award show or something back in the 90s. And I said, I'm going to work on that one day. And, I got okay, yeah. My parents have always been very
Yeah.
supportive. And that was my first gig out of school.
Mm.
I had like an internship style, but paid gig on assisting the lighting company that does the Video Music Awards for MTV.
Mhm.
And that
Ziggy.
for me was like a little bit of like, wow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to meet a countless amount of pop stars and celebrities and rock stars, and, but or be around it or be close to
Mhm.
it. And that for me was just really special. And the moment where I was like, yep, you can do what you want to do
Yep.
if you just put your mind to it and figure it out, and right time in the right place and the right connections. And
Mhm.
thank you, Kevin Lawson, for that opportunity.
Gavin.
You need one person to give you a chance.
Absolutely.
And that was the person who gave me a chance. And it kind of was the key to unlocking that. And
That's awesome.
Mhm.
yeah, so that I would say is probably like the biggest, like, wow. And then a plethora of other ones underneath
Oh,
all of that,
100%.
Yeah.
because there's just so many moments, but you can't take them lightly. That's what
Mhm.
I always say. So, and I
Aww.
always say, and I have to say one more
Okay.
thing. And I'm sorry,
You're good.
this is my big thing, but don't forget where you came from,
Mhm.
and don't forget the people who helped you get to where you got,
Mhm.
and even if it's just a casual, hey, thanks again for being my mentor or
Mhm.
giving me that chance, that goes a long way.
Sure does.
And, and I like to thank the people who did help me,
Mhm.
um, and, I think that's just something that a lot of people need to kind of keep with them, I think sometimes. So,
Mhm.
Oh, that just gave me like
sorry.
happy chills.
Preachy, but
No, it's
I
so
love it.
good because you do need that. You
Yeah.
need to don't forget where you came from.
life is stressful. Yeah, life is stressful.
It is.
Like, everyone's got to chill a bit. Like, come on, it's not that serious.
Mhm.
It ain't that serious. Get your panties out of a twist. Okay.
That is true.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right.
Okay. So it's time to, I mean, we've been spilling tea a little bit, but now we're going to go into our game session.
Okay.
And the game
Sounds
session
good.
is called Complete the Sentence.
Mm.
So we're going to say the sentence and then you just complete the word. Does that make sense?
The last.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Got it.
So my first time on milk, eggs, and a whole lot of tea was.
Amazing.
I was getting worried. There was a long pause.
I know. I was expecting something completely wacky.
Oh, there are some wackadoos
Yeah,
in here. Hold
it's
on.
just a
Hold on.
extra-
That's number one. Okay.
Yeah.
My Real Housewives intro will be blank.
Don't forget where you came
Oh,
from,
that's nice.
because I'm coming through.
Never mind. I was like, nice.
Because, bitch,
I'm coming for you.
Yeah. I'm coming.
Randy, what will yours be? You already have mine.
Well, hold on. I snatch necks and hairlines. But, baby, I'm always the one.
I would have been like, this
We might need to get a producer involved.
producer, help him out.
I don't
Mine would be,
Drew.
mine would be, darling, don't pull up a seat. You won't be here long.
That's
See?
good. You know, if any of them hear that, they might
I'm
Oh,
steal
gonna
it.
copyright
it came here
that. It came here
first. Okay, it was him. Damn that! I forgot about when
Yeah.
you told me that my mouth dropped because I remember. I think you told me when it was like around this time we were
Yes,
planning Ziggy's
I
episode.
had one in my noggin.
Well, shit, I gotta work on
I
mine.
love it.
Yeah, you do, because yours was not cute at all. All right, so question for you, or complete the sentence.
Okay.
My Beyonce era is.
Dangerously in love, crazy in love. And I was able to witness her doing that on those award shows, like live,
Years ago.
and my whole team knew that I was a huge fan, huge. I never got a chance to meet her. And one day, like it was a couple years later when she was doing Sound the Alarm, the guy was like, you know what? You go take the lighting notes with her. And I was like, what? What? Are you
You breathe the
serious?
same air as Beyonce.
And I was playing it all cool, you know, and I'm like, hi, nice to meet you.
Were you like this
You know, you
close?
just deal with their. Shook her hand. She said, thank you. Like, yeah.
I would not.
Oh my God, I would die. Ziggy, did you just smell? I bet your hand was so sweaty.
I was so cool. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do that
Yeah.
lighting here, and we're gonna da da da. I said, no worries, because she's actually very articulate about what she
Yeah.
wants, and she knows the lighting setups and things like this. So she was very cool, and I played it super cool. And I walked out of Radio City onto 52nd Street or whatever it was, and I was like, I called everyone I knew. I was like,
Yes.
it really happened after 2 years of like getting close, but never that close.
I bet she smelled so good too.
She looked like she just. I got her perfume too.
She smelled like money. That's what. It's Beyonce.
I can't say that I smelled.
I mean,
her,
that'd be
but,
kind
you
of
know.
weird. Yeah.
Oh, no, I would've at
Professional
least,
at
like-
that time.
I wasn't that
Worried
close.
Dan.
I had to
Honestly.
be professional.
You would have said.
But I held it together. And
for you.
That's
the show was
amazing.
Great, as always.
Okay. If I could only eat one food for the rest of my life, it would be blank because blank.
French fries from Belgium. Belgian fries,
Oh.
Belgian frites with mayonnaise. Probably.
Because
Yeah. Because they're just the best thing in the world. And you'll understand when you come visit and we go to like that little stand in the middle of the center, and you know, it's just they do it. It takes forever. You have to wait, but there's
It's
It's
the
gonna be
best.
fresh.
and
oh,
that's like the last meal, right? If I ever had,
Belgium French.
it's like give me every kind of potato possible.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Carb me up.
Potatoes. Yeah.
All right. So the most surprising thing about me is blank, and most people never guessed it.
Surprising thing that I'm actually very nice and a softie.
Yeah, I can
Oh.
contest.
That's
I
a
was
cop
just
out.
like,
Yeah,
why don't people
But I
guess
can
that?
contest to that.
No, I mean, to be honest, like that I'm from Europe, that I was born, you know, that I'm actually from Europe and not from the US, I think. That's usually, I'm a bit of a chameleon. I try to adapt, but, you know, I have a US citizenship, but I wasn't raised here. But most people are very surprised to understand that I'm not from California. They're like, what? You're not from California?
No, I'm not, boo. I'm from the other sea.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I keep people guessing, you know,
Okay.
keep the mystery alive, you know.
Okay. Okay. The soundtrack of my life would feature the song Blank because blank.
The soundtrack of my
It's
life.
raining me. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Probably Crazy for You, or Crazy, is that Madonna Crazy for You? I don't know why. I don't know.
Okay.
That or Secret, I think, by her would be like
Oh.
in the soundtrack of my
Well,
life.
okay. Okay. Secret or crazy?
Yeah.
for you?
Is it Secret? Yeah, I think it's Secret from that.
I don't
Yeah.
think-
There's something about that song that speaks to me in a way that I
Can you
love,
sing
so.
it to us right now?
And that's not because I don't want to. It's because I don't.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm not that confident in my singing voice, but
So we're going to transition from you're not completing the sentence game. We're just asking you random questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
Which is your favorite franchise to produce or least favorite to produce?
Swamp People being my
Oh,
favorite.
yeah. But wait, that's your favorite?
That's my
Wow. I
favorite.
thought you were going to say least favorite. I was like, yeah, I understand that. But wow. Okay.
No, actually, it's my favorite. I really enjoy the cast and the people and the environment, and it's a very, very, very challenging show to make. Unlike most shows, it's just done very differently because it's very hard. You get a lot of sense of satisfaction out of it because it's very unique on camera and off camera. So that's my favorite. And I think that has a lot to do with the team as well and the cast on that. I think it's just such a great collaborative team. So that's my favorite one.
And least favorite?
I don't think I can say it. I don't think I can say
no
it.
worries.
I'm so sorry.
We'll talk about it off camera.
No, because it's not fair either.
100%.
Because I'm also not a big fan of the shows sometimes. So yeah, I can't say that. I've said enough already on this podcast.
Okay, another question for you. Like, I'm in the comments, and I follow like Bravo While Black, a lot of great whatever. Anyway, I'm all in the comments. I don't leave a comment. I'm
You
just
just read it. You must nosy.
Yes.
That's smart.
So,
That's smart.
question for you. Which franchise do you think will have a reboot? Martha's Vineyard? Vanderpump Rules?
Wow.
It's in New Jersey?
Family Karma.
Family Karma?
Oh.
I feel like there's something new brewing, right? I think there's going to be like something that mixes. Think some of the like shows that have gone away a bit or on pause or whatever they're saying. You know, I think I think people really like the characters and they like to see them interacting and mixing. Like when they see them at BravoCon, like they love that stuff, right? So I don't know. I want them to bring back like I like the Winter House kind of shows and things,
cute.
but maybe there's like a different way that they can do that. I don't know. A reboot. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I don't know. I don't know. I think there's gonna be more mixing of the shows. I think that's kind of where I see things going in general, just because what's next, you know? And I think there's going to be some new shows that I feel like it's been a while since there's been some new concepts. And I think people are working on some new types of shows with new casts of characters, new places, I think. And I think those are going to come out soon. But I think there's always going to be like the soft spot for a lot of these key characters from previous shows that maybe they're going to find a way to come back and bring them back. But that's just kind of where my mind goes when it comes to that. But I don't have any indication one way or the other, you know, until it's out, like you don't know.
Yeah.
Unless I'm working on it.
Got you. Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, Ziggy.
I'm sorry if I was not able to be as tea-filled.
Oh my God, no, you were totally fine. Everything just talking to you and hearing what you do, hearing what you say, it means a lot. And also to our viewers, people who want to maybe, or who aspire to be in your position, and to work.
I'm actually, something I'm working on is creating like training programs and trying to nurture like young people to get into the business, not just to be a producer, not just to be a camera person, but a little bit more of what I do, which is the production management side. Anything I can do to kind of inspire people or get them started. I love working with young people to answer their questions and help them along the way, because that's kind of what happened to me. You know, like I followed in the footsteps and learned as I went, but I think I'm always trying to do activities like that as well.
And you had
outside of filming and stuff. So.
One person who believed in you.
And you could be that one person for someone else.
You can be that.
Well, yeah, and that's very important.
Yeah.
That's very important. You have to believe in yourself. But you also have to network. You have to have neat handwriting. You have to know how to make phone calls. You have to, you have to kind of have the courage to go for it and try and keep trying and don't say no. I mean, I got my first gig on a reality show because I called someone so many times following up about it that they were finally like, fine, come in tomorrow, you know? So,
it's amazing.
You have to be persistent. You have to kind of keep moving forward.
Yeah. Because things just won't drop in.
No one's going to give you everything.
Nope.
No one's going to give you everything. You just, but the people will help you. If they see something in you, they're going to help you.
Oh my God, look at us leaving it on this inspirational note and stuff.
That was good. That was amazing.
Well, Ziggy,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you as well. And to all of our viewers and people out there, we appreciate you. We love you, respect you.
Mm-hmm.
Until next time, Ziggy, we say goodbye. And y'all, we say goodbye. We'll see you later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.